Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Heather and this is where we talk about all things books. Today is my top 10 favorites of 2023. So go grab your coffee or tea and let's go talk about these books. I had a rough year last year figuring out what books I enjoyed reading. I had a lot of flops, but I have at least 10 books that drew me in and I enjoyed so incredibly much. So let's get started. The first one is actually one of a series, and I enjoyed this one so incredibly much, and that is Mistborn, The Last Empire. So this one was a lot of fun reading, and I enjoyed this one. The entire trilogy was my favorite, but this one and this one, The Well of Ascension, were my two favorites. I actually rated both of these 5 stars, and I was completely blown away with this book. If you've watched any of my videos from the past year, you know one of my favorite series is The Green Ember, and to me, this one was the adult version of the entire series of The Green Ember. I enjoyed it so incredibly much, and I was so thankful that I actually gave it a shot, because I almost gave up on it because it's long, and the whole series is long, and I just didn't know if I was going to be able to make it through it. But once I got like 50 pages in, I was hooked. And I could not put the series down. I moved from this one to the other two, and I got it backwards, to the other two, and I still got it upside down. Okay, I moved on to the other two, and I didn't enjoy The Hero of Ages as much as I enjoyed these two, but these two definitely earned their spot in my top 10 favorites of 2023. So there's those two. Then I have the next one is, so the next one I have on my list is also a series. Actually, almost all of the books that I have are a series, but it is the Wingfeather Saga. This one is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, and this one is North or Be Eaten. And these two were also, I rated them 5 stars. I will say, I do enjoy these books. I did enjoy The Green Ember more, but the sole fact that my entire family, including my husband, is enjoying this series makes me give it 5 stars immediately, because it is hard to pull my husband in on books. And the fact that he actually listens to me when I read these books and asks questions and gets into it, it's immediately a 5 stars, okay? So if you want a family book where you have a family that goes on an adventure that overcomes trials and everything, these books are it. So go try them. I enjoyed these a lot. My entire family has enjoyed these a lot. So moving on, next is on my list another series that I read this year. It is one of my son's favorite series. So you probably already know, possibly, but it is the Percy Jackson series. The Lightning Thief, I gave 5 stars, and I gave The Battle of the Labyrinth 5 stars. Now, I'm not going to say that the rest of the series isn't good, because the rest of the series is just as good. The only thing is, when I rated these 5 stars. So over the other 3, I think only one of them I was kind of disappointed in. And I think that was the second book. But my son told me to just keep going after the second book, because the last 3 are better. And he was absolutely correct. I enjoyed the last 3 books a whole lot. And honestly, reading these books went by a whole lot quicker than I thought they would. I honestly don't know why I didn't read these books sooner, but I didn't. I mean, I had heard about them, and then I was always like, nah. And then my son found out about them when he was in 3rd grade and read them, and he laughed so hard. Even his teachers told me that whenever they heard, or he would start giggling in class, and they loved listening to him laugh at these books. And so I was interested, and I just never had picked them up after that. Life got crazy, and I just didn't find time to read. So I decided to read them after him requesting me to read them for several years. And I actually really, really enjoyed this series so much. I did. Percy is, he reminds me a lot of my son. Okay, my son. And now I see why he really liked these books, because my son is a complete smart aleck, and so is Percy Jackson. And honestly, I loved this. I loved this series a lot. Then I have on my list, oh, my page turned. This one is not a series. This one is a reread from the year, and that is The Two Princesses of Baku. I loved this book as a kid, and I read it and reread it so many times that my original book that I got fell apart. It was paperback, and I picked it up at a book fair when I was at school, I think in the 6th, maybe 7th grade, and I read it so many times. And I do plan on reading more of Gail Carson Levine's stuff. My older sister, her favorite book is, one of her favorite books was actually Ella Enchanted, but I never actually read that one. I chose to read this one instead, and I just wasn't interested in Ella Enchanted anymore, because I wanted more of Addie and Meryl. And it was definitely one of those things. I just love this book, and it still is a 5-star read for me. So then we have, I said that one. Oh, okay. Keeper of the Lost Cities. I started this one, and this one ended up being a 5-star for me. It actually did make me tear up in certain areas, and I did enjoy it. And my 2 children are now reading the series, and they want me to read further in the series because they want to be able to talk to me about it, and I just haven't gotten as far as they have. And they keep bugging me to, Mama, will you please read the next book so we can talk to you about it? And so that is definitely on my list to do. I read this one and the second one, and I enjoyed both of them, but I liked the first one more than the second one, for sure. And so the 3rd and the 4th book are on my list of books to read for the year, and so I'm excited to see what the rest of it holds. I enjoyed this book last year, and I can't wait to see the rest of it. And then I have a few books that I do not have with me, and that is Tress of the Emerald Sea. I read this one because I love The Princess Bride, and I saw that it was a take on The Princess Bride, but from Buttercup's perspective, and I was interested immediately. I was like, absolutely yes. So I got it from the library, and I read it, and I absolutely loved it. It was so fun watching Tress go through her adventure and overcome her obstacles, and everything that happened. I enjoyed. I love this book. It is probably one of the top books that I read this year. I think I actually like it more than I liked Mistborn, if that's even possible. But I really did like this book so much, and I'm glad that I chose to read it, because in the month of August, I just went from one bad book to another, and to be able to actually have that book as a read after all of those not so great books, at least for me, I didn't enjoy those books. It was good. It was just a good read to have during that month. Then I have Codename Edelweiss, and I had that one. I read it in November, and it actually helped pull me out of the slump that I was in from August, September, and October. I was in kind of a slump and I didn't want to read, and I was kind of grumpy because I couldn't find a book that I wanted to read, and nothing was suiting me, and I just didn't. And then I picked up Codename Edelweiss from my library app because I saw the cover and I was like, well, that looks pretty. And then I read the synopsis, the summary, and I was like, okay, yeah, it has spies, it has World War II, it's in Hollywood. Okay, let's do this. So I read it and I loved that book. And then to find that it's actually based off of events that actually happened in Hollywood during World War II, with the Nazis trying to take over some of the things that were going on, different television studios and everything. I was like, okay, well, now I've got to know more. So hopefully she comes out with more, because she ended it to where it could possibly become a series, and I'm hoping it does, because I want to know more. I want to know more about this. I want more. And then the last one that I have is my 5-star read for manga, and that was Spy Family. It is still currently ongoing, so I don't have all of it read, obviously. But that one I loved. I laughed so hard during these. And if you don't know, if you can get me to laugh, I'm going to love this. I'm going to love your story, because if I laugh out loud, actually laugh out loud to where my husband is like, why are you laughing so hard? That is why. But I started reading it last year and I enjoyed it so much that I watched the anime, and the anime does so well. They did such a good job at converting the manga to anime, and my kids watch it with me and they look forward to the update every week to watch Spy Family. I loved it. My kids are loving it, and I'm excited to read more on Spy Family. But those are all of my favorites for the year of 2023. Did you read any of these books as well? And if you did, were they some of your favorites? If they weren't, then let me know what your absolute favorite book was in 2023. I will say it is very hard to choose out of these 10, but I think my absolute favorites, I think, were probably Tress of the Emerald Sea and Edelweiss, because they came in a time where I was having a hard time finding books that I enjoyed, and when I finally found them, I was extremely happy. So those are mine. What are your absolute favorites? And don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot, and I appreciate every single one of you for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!